The two siblings had been looking forward to this flight for weeks. A simple trip, nothing more. But as they stepped onto the plane, their eyes turned. The flight attendant's expression shifted. Moments later, their tickets were questioned, their seats reassigned, and then the unthinkable. "You need to leave." Humiliated, confused, and with no explanation, they were forced off the plane. What did no one know? Their father owned the airline, and he was about to teach them a lesson they'd never forget. Mia and Jordan were just two excited teenagers, ready for a weekend getaway. Their father, a powerful yet humble businessman, had surprised them with first-class tickets on his airline, a small reward for their hard work in school. Dressed casually with backpacks slung over their shoulders, they strolled through the terminal, chatting about their trip. Everything felt normal as they handed over their boarding passes, but the flight attendant barely glanced at them before her brows knit together. She hesitated, then a forced smile. "Are you sure you're in the right line?" Mia and Jordan exchanged a look. The unease was subtle, creeping in like a shadow. They had flown plenty of times before, but something about this moment felt off. Soon they would find out why. Mia and Jordan walked down the jet bridge, their excitement building until they reached their seats. A flight attendant, the same one who had hesitated at the gate, stood in the aisle, arms crossed. "There's been a mistake," she said coolly, her eyes scanning them up and down. "These seats aren't for you." Mia's heart skipped. "But these are our tickets." She held them up, but the attendant barely looked. "I don't think so." Her voice was sharper now. "We have rules about upgrades. You need to move to economy." Jordan bristled. "We didn't get upgraded. We were booked here." Passengers started watching. A few murmured. The attendant's lips pressed tight. "I need you to step off the plane so we can resolve this." The words hit like a slap. Step off the plane, like they had done something wrong. Mia's stomach twisted as she met her brother's eyes. Something wasn't right, and it was about to get worse. Mia's hands trembled as she clutched her ticket. "We're not leaving. We have every right to be here." The flight attendant's expression hardened. "If you don't comply, I'll have security escort you off." A hush fell over the cabin. Passengers shifted uncomfortably. Jordan's jaw clenched. "This is discrimination," he said, voice shaking with fury. "You're kicking us off because we're black." Gas rippled through the first-class cabin. The flight attendant's face darkened. "That's a serious accusation." Before Mia could speak, two uniformed airport security officers appeared. "Is there a problem here?" Her chest tightened. A problem. That's what they had become. Mia saw it in their eyes. The assumption of guilt. "Yes," the attendant said quickly. "They're refusing to cooperate. They need to be removed." One officer sighed, stepping forward. "Let's go. Now." Mia's pulse pounded. "We're not leaving." Then a voice cut through the tension. Calm, commanding. "I'd like to know why my children are being removed from my airline." Silence. Passengers turned. The flight attendant went pale. Mia whipped around. Her father stood at the entrance of the cabin, the CEO of the airline. The flight attendant's face drained of color. Whispers spread through the cabin like wildfire. Their father owned the airline. Mia and Jordan stood frozen as their father stepped forward, his presence commanding. "Is this how we treat paying passengers?" His voice was calm, but there was no mistaking the steel beneath it. "Or is it just how we treat black passengers?" The attendant opened her mouth and closed it, and the weight of her actions crashed down around her. Passengers murmured, some shaking their heads in disbelief. I didn't know," she stammered. "And if we weren't my children," he asked, his piercing gaze locked on hers, "would they still be dragged off this flight for simply existing in first class?" The officers exchanged glances, then silently stepped back. The tension hung thick in the air. Mia swallowed the lump in her throat. This moment wasn't just about them anymore. It was about every black traveler who had ever been questioned, doubted, or humiliated simply for being where they belonged. The CEO turned to his children, his voice gentle now. "Are you ready to take your seats?" Mia nodded, slipping into her chair. Jordan did the same, his hands still trembling. The plane remained silent as their father took out his phone. "This will be handled," he said, then walked away. The flight attendant, now shaken, hurried off, avoiding their eyes. The weight of her actions would follow her long after this flight. But Mia knew this wasn't just one moment. It was a reflection of a much larger reality. How many others had been forced to leave without someone to stand up for them? Racism doesn't always come with slurs or violence. Sometimes it's just a quiet, calculated attempt to make you feel like you don't belong. So the question remains, how many more times before the world finally listens? If you enjoyed this story and found it thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful narratives. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done in this situation? Your support helps bring more eye-opening stories to life. Where are you watching this video from? Let us know in the comments. Take care.